For the last, decade, we've all treated our digital ads like they're just simple doorways to our websites. We've obsessed over everything that happens after the click. Well, that entire model, it's broken. Today, we're going to deconstruct that old system and actually architect a new one, focusing on the most critical, yet almost always overlooked part of the whole process, the pre-click phase. So let's kick things off with a statement that should honestly change how you view your ad spend forever. The very moment a user clicks your ad, a staggering 70% of that conversion decision, it's already been made. Now, think about that. If you're spending all your time and money optimizing your landing page and just ignoring this, you're not just losing sales, you are literally paying platforms like Meta and Google to lie to your customers. So let's just focus on that number for a second, 70%. What is actually happening in those 2, maybe 3 seconds before the click that holds so much power? That's what we call the little-known phase of ad success. It's the moment where real intent is either solidified or it's completely fabricated. And, mastering this is the difference between a 1% and a 10% conversion rate. It's that big of a deal. And this, right here, brings us to the core problem we're going to tear down today. The post-click fallacy. You know the drill. A user clicks, they hit the page, and then they bounce immediately. And what do? We blame the landing page. We start frantically changing button colors, we tweak the headline, but we're looking in the completely wrong place. The failure didn't happen on the page, it happened back in the ad. So here's our roadmap for building a better system. First, we're going to dissect the post-click fallacy. Then we'll get into the signal loss crisis that makes this problem so urgent right now. After that, we'll actually build the solution, the semantic priming stack. We'll understand the neuroscience of why it works so well, and then we'll finish with the pre-click master plan that you can put into action immediately. All right, section 1, the post-click fallacy. Let's dig in and get to the real root of why the conventional approach to conversion optimization is just failing modern brands left and right. This slide shows the huge mental shift we all need to make. On the left, you see the typical assumption. The landing page failed. But the reality over there on the right is that the failure happened way back at the start of the journey. The ad didn't just fail to attract the right person, it failed to prime them. It set a completely false expectation that the landing page could never live up to, creating this jarring, trust-breaking experience for the user. And this really nails the old way of thinking, right? We were all taught to create ads that were like fishing lures, these shiny objects designed to get a bite from pretty much anyone. But that strategy just attracts what we call bait snatchers, Users who click out of just idle curiosity, not genuine intent. You end up paying for thousands of these curious clicks, but you can only build a real business on committed customers. Let's move to our next section, because this isn't just some philosophical shift in marketing theory. It's a necessary response to a huge technological earthquake that's happening in digital advertising, the signal loss crisis. Just look at this timeline. A decade ago, back in 2016, we were living on the golden age of the pixel. We could run these kind of vague ads, and the algorithms at Meta and Google would do all the heavy lifting, finding our buyers for us. But fast forward to today, as we're heading towards 2026, we're in the era of signal loss. Because of all the privacy updates, those same algorithms are basically flying blind. The responsibility for targeting has now shifted from the machine to the message. And this is the new unbreakable rule of scaling, period. The creative is the targeting now. Its primary job is no longer just to get a click, its job is to qualify intent. And if your ad isn't actively repelling the wrong people, you are paying to dilute your own data, and you're basically subsidizing your campaign's failure. So, what does this mean? Well, our metrics have to evolve too. Forget cost per click. The metric that savvy investors and high-growth brands are obsessing over is cost per qualified lead. Just imagine 2 brands. One gets 1,000 clicks to make 10 sales. The other gets just 100 clicks for those same 10 sales. Which brand is more valuable? It's the second one, because it isn't wasting a fortune on 990 unqualified clicks. That waste is what kills companies. This brings us right to the solution. So how do we build creative that actually targets? We need an engineering approach, not some random brainstorming session. Welcome to the Semantic Priming stack. Okay, so this system is a cognitive alignment stack, and it's got 3 layers.
First up, the Categorical Anchor. This tells the user's brain exactly what bucket to put your offer into. Next, and this part is key, is what we call the Friction-Forward Qualifier. It sounds totally counterintuitive, but this is where you have the guts to be honest. You put things like starts at 10K right in the ad copy to scare away bad fit leads. And third, the Continuity Bridge, which makes sure there's a seamless visual and message link from the ad straight to the page. So why is this continuity so critical? Well, research into user experience shows that for every single moment of cognitive dissonance, every time a user has to pause and kind of reevaluate if they're in the right place, you lose about 20% of your potential customers. With perfect alignment, though, you create a frictionless slope. You're no longer just buying traffic, you are buying momentum. Now let's look at the science behind all this. This isn't just some good marketing theory. It's actually rooted in the fundamental principles of cognitive science. So let's explore the neuroscience of why this system is so darn effective. The core principle at play here is called predictive coding. See, the human brain is, at its core, a prediction machine. It absolutely hates to be surprised by a landing page. When a user clicks your ad, they're forming this rapid, subconscious mental model of what's coming next. Your only job is to fulfill that prediction perfectly. And when your landing page feels like the natural, inevitable next step from the ad, the user's brain gets this little hit of dopamine. It's a reward signal that basically says, hey, I was right. I made a good choice. I can trust this. This feeling of correctness is the ultimate conversion lubricant. It reduces friction and builds subconscious trust before they've even read a single word of your headline. And this all happens, you're not going to believe this, incredibly fast. There's something called Preattentive processing, which means the brain decides if a page feels right in just 50 milliseconds. That's long before a user consciously processes a single word. This judgment is based on what's called the visual scent, the colors, the layout, the imagery. By making sure your ad's visual scent perfectly matches your landing page, you win the conversion battle before it's even truly begun. Okay, we've covered the theory and the science. Now let's make this actionable. Section 5, the pre-click master plan. Here is exactly how you engineer this unbroken narrative in your own campaigns. It really breaks down into 4 key steps. First, you need to audit your accounts for what I call toxic clicks. Second, engineer friction-forward copy that qualifies intent before they ever click. Third, you systematically implement the visual scent across your funnels. And finally, you start measuring the return on ad impression, not just a click. So how do you actually find these toxic clicks? Take a look at this table. You're hunting for ads that look like ad A. These are the revenue killers. You'll notice they have a really high click-through rate, but a painfully low conversion rate. These ads are effectively lying to customers to get a click. Your goal is to kill those ads and build more ads like ad B. Maybe a more moderate CTR, but a high conversion rate because they are qualifying customers, not just tricking them. This is really the heart of friction-forward qualification. You have to get comfortable with the idea of intentionally lowering your click-through rate. Stop hiding your price. Stop hiding your requirements. Use them like a badge of honor to attract the right customer and powerfully repel everyone else. You don't want every click. You want the right click. And all of this culminates in a complete reframing of our job as marketers. We have to stop thinking of ourselves as people who are buying clicks. That's a low-leverage commodity game. With this system, you're architecting a process for acquiring conviction. You're building a system that makes conversion the path of least resistance for the right people. So I'll leave you with this one question to really think about. Look at your own ads. Look at your own funnels. Is your marketing an interruption, just trying to trick someone into a click? Or is it an answer, seamlessly guiding a qualified person to the exact solution they were already looking for? Because in 2026, only the answer is going to win.